Hello, hello.
If it doesn't, then
You see now something?
Yeah.
I can see the chair.
And you're waving.
Yeah, sure.
And camera is unmuted, right?
It is unmuted, yes. We will, as usual, we will start with three Omkaras. Chant Narayana Sutta. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Gananam tva Ganavatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Vamasravastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspatana Srunvannotibhisrita Sadhanam Mahaganapataye Namaha. Prano Devi Saraswati Vajebirvadinipati Dhinama Vitrayavalo Vagdevyai Namaha. Om Sahana Bhavato Sahanau Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sahasrashirsham Devam Vishwaksham Vishvashambhuvam Vishwam Narayanam Devam Aksharam Paramam Padam Vishwatah Paramani Nityam Vishwam Narayana Gum Harim Vishwamevedam Purushastat Vishwam Upajivati Patim Vishwasyatmeshwaragum Shashvatagum Shivamachyutam Narayanam Mahagneyam Vishwatmanam Parayanam Narayana Parotyautiratma Narayana Paraha Narayana Param Brahma Tattvam Narayana Paraha Narayana Parotyadatyanan Narayana Paraha
किंचित् जगत् सर्वं दृश्यते श्रूयतेति वा अंतर्बहिष्यतत् सर्वं व्याप्य नारायण स्थितः अनन्तमव्ययं कविगुं समुद्रेन्द्रं विश्वशम्भुवम् पद्मकोश प्रतीकाश्रगुं हृदयं चाप्यतो मुखम् अदो नित्यावितस्यान्ते नाभ्यामुपरि तिष्ठति ज्वालमालाकुलं भाति विश्वस्यायतनं महत् सन्ततगुं शिलाभिस्तुलं भत्याकोशसन्निभम् तस्यान्ते सुशिरगुं सूक्ष्मं तस्मिन् सर्वं प्रतिष्ठितम् तस्य मध्ये महानग्निर्विश्वाद्यर्विश्वतो मुखः सोऽग्रभुग्विभजन्तिस्तन्नाहारमचरः कविः तिर्यगोर्ध्वमदशायी रश्मयस्तस्य सन्तता सन्तापयति स्वन्देहमापादतलमस्तकः तस्य मध्ये वह्निशिखा अनीयोर्ध्वा व्यवस्थितः नीलतो यदमध्यस्था विद्युल्लेखे भवास्वरा नीवारशूकवत्तन्नीभीता भास्वत्यनोपमा तस्या शिखाया मध्ये परमात्मा व्यवस्थितः ब्रह्म च शिवः हरिसेन्द्रः सोऽक्षरः परमस्वराट् ऋतुगं सत्यं परं ब्रह्म पुरुषं कृष्णपिङ्गलम् ऊर्ध्वरेतं विरूपाक्षं विश्वरूपाय वै नमो नमः ॐ नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णु प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम तत्सत् श्रीरामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु।
So we start with our bhajans. So this is like one line lead and one line follow. Okay, lead and follow, simple one. So it is the lyrics are on the screen, so you can follow that. Kalpam nirakaramekam
जं निर्विकल्पं निराकारमेकं निरानन्दमानन्दमद्वैतपूर्णम्
परं निर्गुणं निर्विशेषं निरीहं
परं निर्गुणं निर्विशेषं निरीहं
परब्रह्मरूपं गणेशं भजेम
परब्रह्मरूपं गणेशं भजेम
गुणातीतमानं चिदानन्दरूपं
गुणातीतमानं चिदानन्दरूपं
चिदाभासकं सर्वगं ज्ञानगम्यं
चिदाभासकं सर्वगं ज्ञानगम्यं
मुनिदेयमाकाशरूपं परेशं
मुनिदेयमाकाशरूपं परेशं
परब्रह्मरूपं गणेशं
सुखादिं गुणेशं गणेशं जगद्व्यापिनं विश्ववन्द्यं सुरेशं जगद्व्यापिनं विश्ववन्द्यं सुरेशं परब्रह्मरूपं गणेशं भजेम परब्रह्मरूपं गणेशं भजेम परब्रह्मरूपं गणेशं भजेम परब्रह्मरूपं गणेशं भजेम.
So, Ramakrishna Sharanam next. So, I think everyone knows this. We all sing together. Okay. Ramakrishna Sharanam,
Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam Sharanye. Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam Sharanye. Krupahi Kevalam, Krupahi Kevalam, Krupahi Kevalam Sharanye. Krupahi Kevalam, Krupahi Kevalam, Krupahi Kevalam Sharanye. Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam Sharanye. Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam Sharanye. Sharanagatoham, Sharanye. Sharanagatoham, 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 Sharanye. Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam Sharanye. Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam Sharanye. Namo Sri Gurave, Namo Sri Gurave, Namo Sri Gurave, Namo Namo. Namo Sri Gurave, Namo Sri Gurave, Namo Sri Gurave, Namo Namo. Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam Sharanye. Jai Jai Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam Sharanye. Ramakrishna, Ramakrishna, Jaya Jaya Ramakrishna. 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 Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam Sharanye. Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam Sharanye.
this is Savakatamrutam. We are singing this from day one, so everyone knows this. So we are singing together. Savakatamrutam,
तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् कृष्णा भुवि गृह्णन्तये भूरिदा जना तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् कृष्णा भुवि गृह्णन्तये भूरिदा जना
Taking refuge in the holy feet of Sarada, Universal Mother, and Sri Ramakrishna, the teacher of the world, my humble salutations to them forever and ever. Kalyananam abhikala nidhi ka api karunya sima nitya modha nigama vachasam mauli bandhara mala sampad divya madhu vijayinaha sannidattam sadhame saisha devi shakala bhuvana prarthana kamadenu. May Divine Mother, the infinite source of all auspicious things, the ultimate abode of compassion, one who is glorified in the Vedas and Vedanta, and the divine consort of Sri Ramakrishna, and the unique benefactor for all the worlds, always manifest before me. My humble greetings and salutations to you all. I welcome you all for today's discussion. So today, as usual, I will start with a small story, which has become like a customary in our meetings. So the story is about the king and the minister. So there lived a majestic king, and he was a good sportsman and also a good hunter. So the one day in his royal room, he was cutting the walnuts or chestnuts with the royal nail cutter. And at the same time, he was fondling his dog and, was loving his dog and fondling. And accidentally, he chopped his thumb finger with his nail cutter, with the royal nail cutter, instead of a nut. So obviously, he'll be having an excruciating pain, and he became absolutely disconsolate. And the whole kingdom came to know about this accident of the king. So he was receiving lots of messages, recovery messages. So email in the form of greeting cards, then text message, email, phone calls, then wishing you a speedy recovery, feel better soon, and praying for an easy recovery, take good care of yourself. All, he is a king, so he is getting all these messages. But except from one person. So that person is his own minister and his personal advisor. The king's minister and his personal advisor did not send him any recovery message. Rather, he just said, oh, all happens for good. He says, all happens for good. This is the statement he told to king, or he conveyed to the king. The king really got irritated with this statement. Losing my finger, how can that be good for me? I literally lost my thumb. So what is what is good in that for me? He has made something. He has some physical disability has come in his life. Permanently lost his thumb finger. So immediately he got annoyed and irritated. He summoned his minister and he sentenced him for 6 years imprisonment. So our minister humbly got that sentence, the decision of the king, and after receiving that decision, he still said, all happens for good. And he happily went to prison and stayed there. Then after a few months, our king got recovered from this. And he, being a sportsman and hunter, wanted to go for hunting in the forest. So he took his chariot and he was speeding, like as we speed in freeways. And he went into the deep inside forest and he lost his way. And his chariot broke down and his horses ran away. Then he did not know what to do, and he lost his way in the deep forest, and he was trying to find his way back home. While he was walking back home, he was captured by natives. They were cannibals. So they arrested this fellow because he intruded in their territory, our king. So they arrested him and took him made him to appear in front of their native head. So they thought, oh, we got a nice person or an article to be sacrificed to our goddess, the forest goddess. So the native head ordered that this fellow should be beheaded tomorrow morning. So you take him for physical examination. So that is their procedure. So when they took our king to have a physical examination, they found his thumb was missing. Then they reported this to the native head. Sir, this fellow's thumb is missing. So what do we do? Then our native head thought, oh, this is a defectful article. And we cannot offer this defectful sacrifice to our goddess. So this fellow is not, we need to reject this fellow. So they dismissed their decision, and they decided the king to be let free. So he literally was released. So our king heard this. He couldn't understand what's going on, but anyway, he felt joyful, and the native head told, you just take this fellow to the border and throw him out of our border. It's a reject. That's not a good thing to sacrifice for our god or goddesses. So he was thrown away. From there, he fled back to his kingdom. Then he reached his palace. Then he breathed. And now he recalled the statement of his minister. All happens for good. So because of him losing this thumb, his life was saved now. He realized that. Then he ordered his people to release this wise minister from the prison. So the wise minister was brought back from the prison. But the king questioned the minister. When I sentenced you for 6 months, you said the same statement for yourself. All happens for good. So what good happened to you when you were sentenced in the jail? What is the good happen to you? Of course, for me, your statement came true. But what came true in your space or in your situation? Then the minister said, suppose you didn't sentence me for 6 years imprisonment. Then it is my royal duty to accompany you to this forest. Then you would be riding the horse chariot so fast, and I would be standing next to you. Then we both would have lost our way in the forest. Then we both would have captured by these natives. They had left free because you had a defect. I didn't have a defect. They would have chopped my head. Then my life would have gone. So you saved me with your sentence of 6 years in prison. So that good happened to me. So in this way the good happened to me. So all happens for good. So we need to take, sometimes we may not know why this is happening to me at that moment, but later, after a few years, or maybe after 10, 15 years, we might know why this happened to us. So let us be patient and try to wait to know the truth in future. So last class, we have been discussing about Sri Ramakrishna's teaching as about the two dual aspects or dual characteristics of Brahman. Again, Brahman can be consciousness, God, awareness, concept, or supreme personality. You can have in your own way. So he taught us that there is a transcendental and immanent aspect of Brahman, and which an aspirant has to accept it. So what is transcendental aspect? There are three features. One is Brahman's nature is non-corporeal. That is, he has a divine form, which has got no material involvement, like our body. Second is, he is against all imperfections that happens in the world. So Brahman is represented as Hamsa in Hinduism. The meaning of Hamsa means, Ham means, it's a two-letter, Hamsa, Hamsaha. Ham means no defects. Saha means in essence. So he has no defects in essence. That is why we call him as Hamsa. The third is, he controls everything. He is present everywhere and controls everything all the time. I cannot control myself. I cannot control you, or I cannot control the whale in the ocean. I cannot control Mr. Biden. Mr. Biden cannot control us directly, but he can push the inflation rate and try to make us run. That's different issue. But directly he cannot control us, nor we him. He might be a supreme person in this country, but he cannot control. But Brahman is, the consciousness is controlling each one of us. The best example, whatever we think, it doesn't happen. What we don't think, it happens for us. That is the best example we can evaluate ourselves. This is called Nitya aspect of Brahman. The second is the immanent aspect, which is called Leela aspect. Leela means play. Or we can say Leela Vibhuti. Vibhuti means an asset. So Brahman, the immanent aspect of Brahman is inner soul of each and every one of us, and he possesses infinite auspicious qualities to help us to enjoy him. So these are the two dual characteristics of Brahman. So Sri Ramakrishna states very clearly that a complete aspirant should understand this transcendental and immanent aspect of Brahman. Both are real and inseparable. Sri Ramakrishna states that Brahman is qualified by plurality, but it is not itself plural. He is qualified by plurality, but is not itself true. So there is, he states that there is a synthetically he affirms that Brahman is only one reality and all others are there to glorify it. So he puts it in many ways. We will see in the gospel how beautifully he puts how we should conduct ourselves being a best aspirant in our spiritual life. So far we saw two of his gurus who did not approve both the aspects of the transcendental and immanent aspect of Brahman. In last class we saw Haladhari and Jatadhari. So we finished these two gurus who actually accepted either one, not both. So, but these gurus were very closer to their perfection. They didn't attain the perfection. They're very closer to that. So I will tell you a small story how this closer to perfection, to understand how closer to perfection really means. There was an advertisement in the newspaper. Teller job in Bank of America. Bank of America advertises that teller needed. So many applied for the job. One of our friend also applied. So he got an interview date. Please come. So he was dressed nicely and he went to the interview. So the teller job in the bank, what is the demand usually? Accuracy. And a person should have a numerical proficiency, counting the notes, and he should be accurate in giving the exchange and all this. Our man was having all good mathematical, analytical reasoning, he was expert. So he attended the interview. The question was asked him, what is, the manager is asking the question to this, our friend, what is 3 times 8? You know, what is it? Take your time, no problem. Okay, keep it close, otherwise this fellow will hear. So keep it with you. He is, our friend knows the answer, like our Trembakesh. But somehow, because out of overconfidence or some kind of tension, he said 23 instead of 24. Then our interview finished. Hey, please go. Because he told the incorrect answer. So what is there to question him further? So he went out. And outside he was thinking, oh, what a grave mistake I have done. I know it is 24. How did I say 23? Because we all do such. We know, but still we miss out that correctness, accuracy. Then he said, oh, maybe I will not get this job. So he went to home and he got recovered from all this. And after 10 days, he is receiving a letter. He is appointed for this job. So he didn't understand what I replied incorrect. For this incorrect answer, I got this job. That is something miraculous. So he got the job, and with his appointment letter, he went to join for that position. But he wanted to ask his manager about this, but he doesn't want to ask because if suddenly they will remember and they might dismiss him again. So he thought, okay, let me keep it secret. So he just kept quiet. So the manager received him and gave him, showed his cabin, and he started working as a teller. Happily 6 months passed. Then his job became permanent in Bank of America. So now he thought, okay, at least let me ask this, let me clarify, because this inquisitiveness was there with him. Though I replied incorrectly, but still I got this job. So he made up his mind and discussed with our manager. He said, "Sir, I have a question." Yes, please go ahead. Then he said, "Sir, when during at the time of interview, you asked me what is 3 times 8. The correct answer is 24, but I answered 23. It is an incorrect answer, but still you gave me this job. I didn't understand this. Please try to help me." He said, "Oh, this is your question. Okay, you please sit. I will tell you what happened." See, for this position, we had 20 candidates applying for this position. And you are the 21st. So we asked this question, the same question for the previous 20 candidates, all gave the incorrect answer. And your answer is also incorrect, but that is more closer to the right answer. That is why we gave you this job. Okay, so yes, we know that, and we know the correct answer is 24, and we also know that you said wrong. But the closer is, you are the closest to the accuracy. So we are all, our life is like that. So we are all closer to the accuracy, but not exactly accurate, in par with the expectation of the Brahman understanding. So our Haladhari and Jatadhari were all the previous gurus of Sri Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna himself is guru, but he had his gurus, that is Haladhari and Jatadhari. They were very closer to the perfection. They didn't have complete understanding. So this is the now we have to start the Bhairavi Brahmini, who is the third guru of Sri Ramakrishna. Bhairavi Brahmini is a great yogini and who taught and initiated Sri Ramakrishna in the Tantric sadhana. So let us understand what exactly Tantra means. So Tantra means, Tan means in Sanskrit, it's a thread. So in a cloth like this, there is a warp. Warp is the length, thread which goes vertically. The weaver should know, we will know. Weavers, those days handloom was there, then power loom, now everything automatic, robots do that. In those days, it's called warp. Warp means the threads which goes vertically. And there is a web which goes, the thread goes horizontally, goes like this. So warp and web. So the weaver has to push the loom such a way that it will tighten the warp and web, and the cloth is made. It's a very technical and to be honest, we go to our convenience stores like Macy's, or we said, "Oh, I don't like this shirt. Oh, this design is not nice." We just make that decision, but it's very difficult to make that shirt. If you analyze it, the labor which is put in that is something really very hard work. But within 1 second, we say, "Oh, this is not good. This design is not good." But of course, nowadays it is all done by machines. But in those days, it was manually done by our forefathers. So tan means to weave or to expand. So if you want to expand, you have to expand. If you want to expand the cloth, you have to add the warp. Then the cloth is expanded. So Tantra means to expand yourself in any work we do. That is Tantra. It is interweaving of traditions and teachings is Tantra. So who is the Tantric God? Any idea? Tantric God is Bhairava. The tantric god is Bhairava. The tantric practitioners, what they do is they emulate his fearsome and an anarchic appearance in order to become one with this Bhairava. That is why if you see people who are practicing tantras, whether they know it or not, they will have this matted hair and they will put tattoos also. You please don't. They put tattoos and they have all these weird costumes,
Usually
red and they try to imitate this god Bhairava. So and these tantric sadhakas or what they do is they try to control others through their performance. There are 64 tantric sadhanas. If you go into those studies, it's all very vast. And once a person is expert in the 64 sadhanas, then he gets Ashta Siddhi, 8 kinds of perfections, which we discussed in the last class. And usually they try to control. In those days, they keep these tantric sadhakas in their kingdom. The small kings used to keep them so that their kingdom is protected against any evil influence or any invasion from the other kings. So our Bhairavi Brahmini is one of such person. And Tantra also has got another beautiful meaning as per the Mimamsakas. Mimamsakas means they are the one school of philosophy in the Hindu philosophy. So that is one complete action which benefits all. That is Tantra. That is, suppose in this dark room, we are all here, and we just put one candle light, one complete action. With that luminosity of that light, some reads, some cook, another do some accounts, some sing. So Tantra also represents that symbol, that when you introduce some Tantra, that particular luminosity is trying to help us to do multi skill in that area. So the tantras, there are different kinds of tantras. One is we say Tantra Nata, Sri Vidya Tantra, Kashmiri Shaivism is also Tantra, and then we have Kali Vidya Tantra, and then Saura Tantra. Saura Tantra means Tantra about sun, and Ganapatya Tantra, which is the Ganapati Tantra. Now, why I'm saying all these things is this Bhairavi Brahmini is a complete aspirant of this tantric sadhana, but there was little gap between her and Brahman, her complete fulfillment. That gap is going to be bridged by Sri Ramakrishna. This Bhairavi Brahmini, an able yogini and achieved aspirant, spiritual aspirant, got a vision that she will have 3 disciples. One is Chandra, other is Girija, and third is Kali. So she found Chandra and Girija as their able, as her able disciple. She is waiting to meet her third disciple, who is Kali. Now, who is Kali here? That is the Sri Ramakrishna. So Sri Ramakrishna is waiting to get that, get the connection with his guru Bhairavi Brahmini. And this Chandra and Girija, they achieved the spiritual highest reality by the help of Bhairavi Brahmini. But what did they achieve? They achieved occult powers instead of the God realization. So they deviated from their path of God realization. Instead, they achieved occult powers. See, Tantra sadhana is going to give you lots of powers because it's Ashta Siddhi. If you read Ashta Siddhi means 8 perfections. That will, if a person gets that, he can control many people. All these are very attractive, but this is not going to help us to attain mukti as per Sri Ramakrishna's instructions. We are all followers of Sri Ramakrishna. So he's going to take us to the higher realization, not to this menial or something minor things which are related with material objectivity. So Sri Ramakrishna used to warn, if anybody who is interested in this occult power gaining attitude, so these powers are going to be an obstacle and raise our egotism in experiencing the Brahman, which is the highest and the most, the top level investment on return. So he says, as the ego grows, so the sin. And when the ego shrinks, the virtue grows. So it happened once in Swamiji's life. So Swami Vivekananda was meditating very deeply. And his meditation concentration went so high that he had clairvoyance and clairaudience powers coming up slowly. Then he had that somebody talking in one particular place in Kolkata, and he could hear exactly what those people are talking and how they look, what kind of trust, and how many people were there. Everything he could see and hear their conversation. So to verify that, Swamiji went to that place and knocked at the door. And he saw all those people who were there. And he verified the conversation, what he heard in the meditation. Everything was real, exactly matching. And he came and discussed this with Sri Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna was upset. I said, these are all useless. This type of occult power gaining is useless. Don't worry about what others are doing. You think about God. Think about the Brahman. That is the highest. Be with spirit, worshipping spirit. There is no interference of material combinations there. Compound of matter there. So he rebuked Swamiji and told this and dismissed the conversation and said, don't meditate for some time. Because he just wants to recover from that occult power's influence. Don't meditate. So this way, Swamiji was able to get rid of all this accumulation of these occult powers, because Sri Ramakrishna is telling us that the ultimate realization and experience and happiness lies in thinking about God in form of absolute surrender and divine union. This union we cannot actually tangibly show. It is an experienceable thing, but only Sri Ramakrishna can show us the way. So he says a beautiful story. There lived a monk after 10 years of his ordination. It is a procedure that they go back to their ancestral home and meet their parents and relatives. So a monk wanted to meet his parents and his relatives. So he went back. He went back home to his native place after 12 years. So he had a younger brother. And of course, younger brother welcomed his older brother and a monk to and he served him sweet meats, fruits, and all kinds of delicious items prepared by his mother and his wife. So the monk happily had, and our younger brother asked his older brother, brother, revered brother, you become a monk for now 10 years. So what have you achieved? What is your achievement? Being a monk. Then this monk replied, oh, I will show you. Please come with me. So he took to a Colombian river. He took Colombian river, Willamette River, whatever. Then he walked on the river like our Christ who walked on the river to prove his faith to his disciples. So he walked down the river and crossed the river by his yogic occult powers. He showed, see, I have done this. This is my achievement. But the younger brother paid a boatman half a penny and he crossed the river. Then both have crossed the rivers, the Willamette River. And our younger brother said, you just achieved only half a penny worth of this. Your life is just only half a penny worth, which I was able to cross in half a penny, and you spent 10 years of your life gaining all these occult power to walk. That I achieved in half a penny. So actually, the incident is actually, it is not that occult powers are all has to be discarded or discouraged. What Sri Ramakrishna is trying to say in another way is, your self-effort alone cannot give you fulfillment. You should do Sharanagati, that is self-surrender to the divine. Like the boat carrying this man, he is a self-surrender who has surrendered himself to God, which can happen only an highest aspirant only can do that. We will be seeing all those stages. So he is saying that be a self-surrendered person, a devotee of God, then the God will take that devotee to cross any river or any ocean. That's what Sri Ramakrishna is trying to say with that anecdote. Now Brahmini, our Bhairavi Brahmini is a heroic aspirant. So in the tantric sadhana, we have 3 stages. First is bestial stage. In that stage, it is an ordinary stage, which is an elementary state where lust, anger, and animal propensities predominate. Bestial stage. And they must the aspirants in this stage must do lots of japa, meditation, and constantly know about God. So this is the stage of knowing God. The second stage is the heroic stage. Our Brahmini is in this stage. In this stage, the passion for God, that is, passion for God, prevails over this lust, anger, and animal propensities. And these propensities intensifies this lust, anger, and these animal propensities intensifies the aspirant for the longing of God, love of God. So in this stage, we remember God in all our day-to-day work. The first stage is we know God. Then the second stage is we are remembering God. So all our work, day-to-day work, is focused on God. That is the second stage. Our Bhairavi Brahmin is in second stage, and she hasn't reached the third stage, which is the divine love, which is the, as per the tantric sadhana, is a divine mode. They call it as divine mode. In aspirant in this stage is carried away by the divine love. So the divine thought is very spontaneous, continuous thought of divinity, which Sri Ramakrishna experienced in terms of samadhi, continuous samadhi, and self-surrender and communion, holy communion. And this concept is there in Christianity, holy communion. So for such persons, forgiveness, righteousness, sincerity, complete unselfishness, kindness, contentment, and truthfulness is like and the thought of virtues, all kinds of virtues are very natural, like it comes very natural, like a breathing, natural breathing. And the people who are in this mode don't have any hindrance at all. This divine mode was actually lacking in Bhairavi Brahmini, because she thought that she's controlling everything, and she thought that she's the only embodiment of divine, and the divine mother, or that Brahman only belongs to me, not to all. That is her attitude. So we have this similar step in Christianity. It is beautifully elucidated in the Imitation of Christ by Thomas Kempis. Beautiful book. I request you all to at least read one or two episodes or some beautiful explanations by the Thomas Kempis. So that book is divided into 4 parts. 4 parts. The one is, first part is exactly the elementary stage kind of preparation. That is, thoughts helpful in the life of a soul. That is the first part. So in that part, our Thomas Kempis clearly lists how to prepare oneself for the higher life in various aspects, on various characteristics. What we day to day we deal is trying to explain that in a very spiritual mode. And then he takes us from the first part to the second part, which is the interior life. In interior life, he is teaching us how to remember God, and how to put God in all our works. That's beautifully he says in the second part. The third part is the internal consolation. The internal consolation is hearing God. How to hear Him? Ramakrishna all the time rushes to Kali, and he is hearing Kali all the time. So our same way, how the Thomas Kempis describes how to hear God in this internal consolation. The fourth one is the Holy Communion. Holy Communion, be a self-surrender to God. You have, like you board a plane and you surrender yourself to the pilot. You cannot do anything after boarding the plane and the plane has taken off. All you have to just relax. What happens, happens. So that is there you have the concept called how to receive it. So the first is how to prepare yourself for God. Second is how to remember God. Third is how to hear God. Then fourth is how to receive God. So these 4 parts are beautifully mentioned in the Imitation of Christ. Swamiji used to carry this book throughout his life. He only carried 2 books. One is Bhagavad Gita and second is Imitation of Christ. Swami Vivekananda. Especially
he translated this book in Bengali first time. there in the complex.
So the Bhairavi Brahmani was thinking that Brahman and realization only belongs to her and none else. That was the problem with her. And she thought that she is the only one who is embodied with the divine consciousness, and she becomes so self-centered. And she did not think that we are all modes of Brahman. That is the problem with Bhairavi Brahmani. And also she did not think that one divisible Brahman or Satchitananda is the inner soul of all this sentient and insentient, forming an integral unity, integral non-duality. And he is controlling each one of us and maintaining the harmony so beautifully. All these higher thoughts of the integral non-duality was completely missing from this Bhairavi Brahmani. So in fact, because her controlling nature even made her to feel jealous when Sri Ramakrishna talked even to Holy Mother. When Ramakrishna is giving some instructions to his friends and disciples, she doesn't like. And then ultimately, our Bhairavi Brahmani lacked the absolute selfless divine love. And Sri Ramakrishna made her to realize that love, the divine love, should be absolutely unselfish or selfless, and only that can lead to God realization. Any kind of selfishness cannot be accommodated there, because the Brahman itself, the word Brahman itself is unselfish, which is expansion. There is no room for contraction there, because contraction means selfishness. Unselfishness means expansion. You cannot have expansion and selfishness. That cannot go in combination. So he explained this to Bhairavi Brahmani, and with this fulfillment, Bhairavi Brahmani left Dakshineshwar. She was fulfilled, and the Bhairavi Brahmani could not. Of course, she didn't meet Ramakrishna after that. She left Dakshineshwar with this completeness of understanding of Brahman. Now we are going into the fourth Guru, which is Totapuri, who is entering into the Vedantic sadhana. So I'm going to give a brief introduction on Vedanta and the who can be an eligible Vedantic aspirant. That I'm going to give you an introduction, and then we slowly go into Totapuri's story. Many interesting episodes are there in Totapuri and our Sri Ramakrishna's meeting. For being a Vedantic aspirant, we need 5 things. 5 understandings should be there. That is, who am I, or who are we? Second, who is God, or the superior personality, or consciousness, Brahman, awareness, whatever. Somebody is there superior to us. We don't know who is that person. So we need to know whether it is a person or non-person, corporeal, non-corporeal, that doesn't matter. We need to know that concept. The third is, what are we going to get if we know that? We know the Supreme Person. Are we going to get wealth or any material enjoyment, or kind of like a cessation of our existing sorrows, or is there be any eternal bliss? These are all comes under third category. The fourth category is, what is the means to reach that Supreme? Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, and self-surrender. These are all the means. Fifth is, what are the hindrances? which is preventing us to reach him. This 5 concepts, that is who we are, who is God, what are we going to get by knowing God, what is the means to achieve that God, and then what are the hindrances, how to eliminate them. We need to know the hindrance, we need to know what disease we have, otherwise how to give medicine. You go to the doctor and he says, okay, what is your problem? I said, I don't know. Can you say this? And he said, why did you come here? First, you know what is your problem. Something we have to start with the doctor. Only then he can probe and say exactly what problem we have. Otherwise, nobody will go to the doctor and say, I came just to simply see you. That is okay. Friends, if a doctor is a friend, it's fine. Unnecessarily, we won't eat a medicine. I will have one Tylenol like a piece of candy. If anybody will have, nobody will have this. Some people are there, but exceptions we should, but generally. So this 5 is very important for any task we do. Even to board a train, you need this 5. To cook, you need this 5. You came from your home to here, you need to know this 5. Hindrances, immediately you check what is the traffic situation. Which way should I take? Freeway or the non-freeway? US, so many states, all these we check. Hindrances. So 5, even to study anything, any matter we do, we need this 5 thing to know. So one I met a friend. Then he was very much worried, and he was a bit baffled and confused. Then I asked him, why are you feeling low? You look so confused. What is your problem? Then he said, see, I don't know whether I should attend this marriage or not, which is happening in Seattle. Then I started telling this 5. So you should know who you are. Then what is the marriage? Then what are you going to gain out of this marriage, attending this marriage? Then what is the means to go there? Then what is the hindrance of attending this marriage? Then after hearing all these things, the man said, oh, excellent. Now I understood who am I. Now I have decided to go to the marriage. And then, oh, is it so? So what did you understand? You understand who you are, right? So what did you understand? You please tell me. No, I understood that what I am. So I've decided to go to the marriage because I am the bridegroom. So he understood. I am the bridegroom. So this is how these 5 are very important. And if you know this 5, you apply this 5 in our day-to-day, any work for that matter, need not to be for Vedantic study. Even if a person wants to beg in the street, he should know this 5. Very important concept in Vedanta. So who we are? So we are all individual souls at the moment. We are all the sincere aspirants, and we experience this world differently, uniquely, individually, based on our sack of karmas which is behind us. Karmas means the karmas which is in each one of us are influencing us how to see this world individually. Sri Ramakrishna incarnated this time as a spiritual aspirant. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyudhanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. That is, Bhagavan Gita clearly gives a guarantee that every age I incarnate to uphold the righteousness and protect the good people. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya sadushritam. So we have a beautiful sloka which gives guarantee that incarnation of the Lord. Rama, that is Ramachandra, the previous incarnation of Sri Ramakrishna. Ramachandra, who is the hero of Ramayana, incarnated directly as a celestial, but played a secondary role of spiritual performer. Next comes Krishna. After Rama, then comes Krishna. Krishna is the hero of Bhagavatam or Mahabharata. He incarnated as a celestial and played a secondary role of spiritual instructor or a spiritual teacher. He gave a beautiful, great, the song of hymns, the song of knowledge, which is Bhagavad Gita. So what is Ramakrishna? Combination of Rama and Krishna. Now this time Kali or divine incarnated as Sri Ramakrishna directly as a spiritual aspirant, and his secondary role as a celestial or God. So nowhere Sri Ramakrishna mentions and says that I am the God being an avatar. He is very happy to be a spiritual aspirant. Because to show us how one should be qualified in today's world, as on today when there are diversity everywhere, how to understand the diversity and how to maintain this diversity and at the same time be in union with God. So he is going to teach us as a spiritual aspirant. So one of the basic understanding of to be a qualified Vedantic aspirant, another aspect is to know this sloka, which I am going to tell you. One is Dehendriya Manaha Prana Dibhyaha. Dehendriya Manaha Prana Dibhyaha Anyo Ananya Sadhanaha Nitya Vyapi Pratikshetram Atma Vinnaha Swataha Sukhi. The meaning of this is very simple. We all know that the soul is different from the body. Mind, sense organs, vital airs. Vital air means prana, and knowledge. Prana means what we breathe, and knowledge. And it is self-luminous and eternal. And it does not depend on anything for its knowledge. And it is eternal and it is pervading through the knowledge in one particular body. From the head to the toe, that is pervading. I am talking about individual soul. It is pervading. Because wherever I touch one person, he knows where I am touching. So that knowledge is pervading inside that body. And it is distinct from the body, and it is by itself, it is blissful. Swataha Sukhi. So Dehendriya Mana Prana Dibhyaha Anyo Ananya Sadhanaha Nitya Vyapi Pratikshetram Atma Vinnaha Swataha Sukhi. So we have a famous Shankaracharya's Nirvana Satakam Mano Buddhya Ahankara Chittani Naham Nacha Stotra Jigvena Grana Netre Nacha Vyoma Abhumir Na Tejo Na Vayuhu. That is, I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the sense organs, I am not the prana, and I am not the intellect, I am not any objectified knowledge. This is the real nature of a spirit. We are all spirits. Because of our past karmas, we have obtained this physical body. And our aim is to use this body to get that holy communion, that is a connection with the Paramatma, which is spirit worshipping the spirit. Sri Ramakrishna Swamiji says there is a last word he uses in the in his famous lecture is Vedanta, a future religion in America. The last word he uses, spirit is worshipping spirit. Spirit is worshipped by spirit. So Paramatma and Jivatma, both are spirits. They are so close to each other. You need not to research whether there are two spirits or one spirits. You need, because there is no point in doing research, because there is no any corporal interference, material. It's absolutely non-corporal. So I leave it with that aspirant, whether you want to have two spirits or one spirit. Two spirits are both are inseparably together, or one spirit only. It is all up to the individual. I will leave it with your own self-experience. Now there is a story, how to understand this. So with this story, I will conclude, and I will do a small another episode is there. Our friend who wants to know, I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the prana, I am not the intellect. So he wants to research that, and he wants to feel that I am Atman. So he went to, so for that he thought he can't do it in our town or city, because all the time some disturbances are happening. So he went to a very intense interior forest, deep forest, Amazon forest. And there under a tree, like our Buddha, he was meditating. And, he has to literally feel that I am not he has to control, like a tortoise, how tortoise, contracts his limbs. Like that, we need to be. Gita says. So while he was meditating, he found a beautiful damsel passing every day to her dance school by that forest. A beautiful damsel passing every day. That is her way to go to her dance school. He didn't know that, so he was meditating, and the moment he saw that beautiful young girl, his eyes was also watching behind. Obvious, the young man. Then he said, okay, I will take a cloth and tie it, so that I won't see this girl. So in that way, he thought he has controlled his eyes, one of his main sense. Then next day, he could not see her because he has tied the eye. But he heard the sound of jingling came from her bracelets. Ching, 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 ching. So that time. Exactly because he knows, because she's passing every day to her school at that particular time. The jing, ding, the sound, the jingling sound came, the bracelet. So he thought, okay, this is disturbing me. So I will take a cloth and tie my ears. So he tied that. The next day, he could not see, he could not hear. He has controlled. So he thought, okay, I have controlled this. Then he could hear the smell of that perfume. That girl used to wear a perfume. Obviously, ladies wear perfumes. The perfume was so strong. Jasmine perfume was there. So he could smell, oh, that girl is going. So he tied his nose also. Then next day,
He can't see.
he can't breathe. Like a mask kind of thing. It's a very intelligent answer, but yes, he can't. Somehow he has actually he wants to know that he is not breathing. Okay, so now the next day he can't see, he can't hear or smell. Then he thought, okay, now he has achieved that stage of knowing that I am the Atman, that he is bereft of this body. But his mind is thinking, oh, by this time, this girl would have passed by nearby me. So that his mind is thinking, oh, this time this girl would have passed by this nearby him. So his mind is thinking that. So our plight is like that. So all the time our sense organs are preventing us to know that we are not spirit. So actually our dispassion means vairagya. Our normal people have vairagya towards God. That means dispassion towards God. But saints have dispassion towards world. That is the difference. They have passion towards God and dispassion towards world. But we have dispassion towards God and passion towards world. So that is the difference. So, and since I told 3 minutes, so another 2-3 minutes I will. So the basic qualification for Vedanta sadhana is: I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the prana, I am not the buddhi, then I am not then objective knowledge, and we are spirit. That is the basic thing. And then according to the Neti philosophy, that is apophatic philosophy followed by Shankaracharya, he has listed this Chadana Chatushtaya, that is 4 kinds of eligibility one should have to be a Vedantic aspirant. That is discrimination, that is Viveka, then non-attachment, which is Vairagya, then 6 virtues. One should develop the 6 virtues, that is tranquility, training of the senses, withdrawal, forbearance, and faith and focus, and contemplation and meditation. Then the 4th is, these 6 comes under 3rd, and the 4th is the mumukshutva, which is the desire for liberation. That is, I need to get rid of this world. That desire should be there. I need to go and attach myself with my original nature, which is with God, to experience the divine love. One should have. But if a person is happy with material love, let the person be there, no problem. But he should have the desire to come out. A patient should have desire to get discharged from the hospital. But if he is very happy in hospital, means lifelong he can be, no problem. So this is according to the apophatic Vedanta. Now people don't like that. Some like the cataphatic Vedanta, this affirmative Vedanta. For them, the eligibility criteria are Viveka, discrimination, then Vimoha, free from the material desires, Abhyasa, that is, one has to continuously practice. Then 4th, Kriya. Kriya means one should practice devotional services like charity and all kinds of philanthropic activities. Then Kalyana is possessing the good characteristics. One should be focused to develop virtues, all kinds of virtues, Kalyana. Then Anavasada, that is, one should not be repenting on the past incidents, failures. Because, oh, I failed, so let me always think I will fail in every endeavors. No, don't have that demotivated kind of develop that, hold on to that which is failures. Try to come out of that, because that belief itself will give us further failures. Then also the Anavasada also includes, don't worry about too much about the future. We cannot plan till our death. We can't plan everything till we die. No, it's a useless planning. Then 7th one is Anubuddarsha, the absence of feeling of elation. Elation means, that doesn't mean that we have to be like a piece of log. Try to control our happiness and the sorrows and keep it in the poised state, so that we don't become a victim of either of these extremes. So, so these are all the 7 eligibilities of an affirmative Vedanta. So I have discussed the apophatic and cataphatic, that is negative Vedanta, and negation and the affirmative Vedanta. So why I'm saying all these things, all these eligibilities were complete in Sri Ramakrishna when he was about to meet Totapu. So with this, I will stop. Not the class is not over. Just you please put that, because tomorrow is a very important day in the life of Sri Ramakrishna, which is, we call it as Palaharani Kali Puja, Sodashi Puja. This is the only time where Holy Mother is worshipped along with Sri Ramakrishna in the Sanctum Sanctorium. This, what you see here, is the Sanctum Sanctorium of the Belur Mutt, the Belur Monastery, and Holy Mother is brought to his place, and she is worshipped along with Sri Ramakrishna. Actually, Ramakrishna is worshipping, and we are actually doing the worship as a servants of Sri Ramakrishna. So both the father and mother, both the Shiva and Shakti, Lakshmi and Narayana, both are equally worshipped in the same place. That is tomorrow night. So that is the significance of Sodashi Puja. Sodashi means 16 years old girl. So it is called Sri Vidya Puja also. It is also called Sri Vidya Puja. So there is mantra called Sreem, Reem and Aim. Sreem means it represents the goddess of Mahalakshmi, wealth. Then Hreem, Hreem represents the Parvati, Kali, Durga, and Aim represents the goddess of Saraswati, wealth. So Sri Ramakrishna invoked all these 3 powers to our mother, and surrendered all his sadhanas, all his spiritual whatever he acquired, he acquired with his spiritual treasures, all he surrendered to Sri Holy Mother, and Sri Ramakrishna become like a disciple. He offered himself to Holy Mother. And there's another beautiful, it's a communion here. That is communion of Purusha and Shakti. Shiva and Shakti is commune here in this. So if you look at the Kali image, you will see that Shiva is sleeping, and then on that Mother Kali is dancing, the dancing position. It shows that the inseparability of the matter and energy, the divine and this world, both are distinct from each other and absolutely inseparable, and the cosmic world and Brahman is totally together as an inseparable, one integral non-duality. So that is the she's called as Maha Tripura Sundari. So Ramakrishna says this sloka: O divine Mother Tripura Sundari, O eternal Virgin, possessor of all power, please open the gate of perfection. Purify her body and mind and manifest yourself through her for the welfare of all. This is the prayer which Sri Ramakrishna is requesting Kali to come on Holy Mother. And after that, she is being called as Holy Mother. Until then, she was called as Saradamani, like that. But after this incident, people started calling her as Holy Mother. So that is tomorrow night is a night puja, overnight puja, because all Kali pujas are done in the night, and it is a new moon day. The new moon day we call in Sanskrit, it's called Amavasya, and it is done there. During that time, you see our monk, Pujari monk. This photo is the last year photo. And our priest monk is doing the puja, and of course many delicious items are offered, all delicious sweet meats and all this, and offered to Holy Mother. And so tomorrow I request you all to offer your prayers to Holy Mother and remember her in your prayers, and I'm sure she's going to grant all your desires to come true. So Sarva Mangala Mangalye Sive Sarvartha Sadhike Saranye Trayambake Gauri Narayane Namostute Mangalam Desikendraya Yaminam Chakravartine Parashakti Swarupinye Devyai Matrecha Mangalam. Om Tat Sat. Yes, please don't do Arati. Please don't. No, that's all. You can take that. Don't.
She has to go there. Photos are there.
So that she can do it.
You can lift. Yeah, it's fine. Thank you.
We'll sing the song where when she's doing the arti. We know this. We do it every week. Gaho re Jaya Jaya Ramakrishna Nam. Gaho re Jaya Jaya Ramakrishna Nam. Ajiye Shubha Dina Miliye Bhakat Jana. Ajiye Shubha Dina Miliye Bhakat Jana. Gaho Gaho Ramakrishna Nam. Gaho re Jaya Jaya Ramakrishna Nam. Gaho re Jaya Jaya Ramakrishna Nam. Ramakrishna Name Ramakrishna Preme. Ramakrishna Name Ramakrishna Preme. Matiya Utag Dharadha. Gaho re Jaya Jaya Ramakrishna Nam. Gaho re Jaya Jaya Ramakrishna Nam. Harite Bhubha Premarta. Harite Bhubha Premarta. Prabhu Ramakrishna Gunadham. Gaho re Jaya Jaya Ramakrishna Nam. Gaho re Jaya Jaya Ramakrishna Nam. Jai Rama Jai Krishna Vishwa Guru Ramakrishna. Jai Rama Jai Krishna Vishwa Guru Ramakrishna. Ekadare Shama Shiva Sham. Gaho re
जय जय रामकृष्ण नाम गाहो रे जय जय रामकृष्ण नाम। जय श्री गुरु महाराज जी की जय श्री महामाई की जय श्री स्वामी जी महाराज जी की जय श्री श्री दुर्गा माई की
जय श्री श्री काली माई की
जय।
Thank you, everyone.